Russia says the decision by the US to allow their long-range missiles to be fired by Ukraine into Russian territory is simply pouring oil on the fire. Joining me live is non-resident senior fellow at the Atlantic Council, Melinda Haring. Melinda, appreciate your time this morning. So the Biden administration says it will now allow American missiles to be used by Ukraine to strike Russia because Russia has escalated by bringing in North Korean troops. But outgoing President Biden has only 2 months to go as well. What's your thoughts around the timing of this policy shift?
Good morning, Kenny. I think politics is everything. So President Biden has been under enormous pressure to authorize the use of these missiles. They're ballistic missiles. They go 300 kilometers. And the Ukrainians have been asking and begging for them for years now. Will they be a game changer? No, it's too few, too late into the war, but it will help Ukraine tactically, particularly in Kursk Oblast. Your listeners will remember Kursk is that section above Ukraine that the Ukrainians invaded in August of this year, and they've continued to hold about 100 square kilometers in Russia. The North Koreans have given the Russians about 10,000 soldiers. They're on their way to Kursk. They're fighting there and trying to push the Ukrainians out. So these long-range missiles, they're called ATACMS. The American system is called ATACMS, will hopefully help the Ukrainian side hold this territory.
OK. The big question is, how will Russia respond? And will Russia be restrained in their response? Because they know that Donald Trump is coming into the White House in a couple of months. Trump is expected to potentially pressure Ukraine into a peace deal. And would Russia want to risk that by responding too heavily, such as using tactical nukes?
No. So the Biden White House calculated that they could get away with authorizing ATACMS, these long-range rockets, right now because of the timing. So President Biden has until January 20th to give Ukrainians any additional assistance he can. And he's betting that Vladimir Putin is not going to take him on in this intervening period, and he doesn't want a nuclear showdown with a new American president. So President Biden felt like he had the ability to say yes, finally. We know that escalation is the reason why he said no, no, no to this missile system for months and months and months. So that's the big change, is he feels like there's a window of opportunity.
What does this mean for Europe now? Does Europe need to shift in their support for Ukraine following this decision by the US?
Absolutely, yes. Europe is slow and sitting on its hands and has made all kinds of rhetorical promises. The Czechs did an amazing thing. They saw that Ukraine didn't have enough ammunition, so they stepped up in an initiative to deliver more 155 millimeter shells, and they're trying to reach a million shell mark. They're not going to make it, but they really pushed the Europeans to step up that production line. But the Europeans have been great rhetorically, but they haven't actually produced enough weapons. And if the new president, the new American president on January 20th were to cut Kiev off, it would be a terrible situation for Ukraine, and it would be terrible for European security. Europe has not done enough in the intervening months and years to make up for the loss of American ammunition and American systems.
Melinda Haring, appreciate your thoughts this morning. Thanks for coming on the program.